Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to WalleyeTank 2026. On behalf of HealthcareMN, thank you for being here with us today at the Walker Art Center for an incredible afternoon celebrating innovation, entrepreneurship, and our community, most importantly. I'm Rashmi Kandwal. I am the Executive Director of HealthcareMN, and it's truly an honor to have you all here today with us to welcome the founders, the clinicians, researchers, ecosystem partners, students, mentors, supporters, judges, our board, our team. It's just fantastic. Thank you. I will get us started quickly with the run of the show today. So this is the first half of the hour. We'll do some introductions. From there, we'll go into the event kickoff. Then we'll have some blast from the past where we have some past WalleyeTank participants and the winners talk about what their experience has been like. Then we start with the junior round. After that, we'll take a short break for 15-20 minutes outside again for coffee. And then when we come back here, we'll start with our mid-reelers round and followed by the giants round. Both the junior round and the mid-reelers round are judged. And so we'll have 6 judges for the juniors round here, and then the mid-reelers round again, the next 6 judges. The giants round is not a judged round. They will come present for 3 minutes each, and then we'll have a QR code in the end, which will ask everyone to vote your favorite giant startup. So that's the People's Choice Award trophy. If you see a saw outside, that's for the giants. And then once all the 3 rounds are done, the judges will go back into the green room for deliberation, selecting the winner. Everyone else will move out, again, for some networking. At 6:30, we plan to host the awards once the judges have selected who the winners are, and then we'll have some more networking. And to start, I'll start with this video. Last year, when we did our New Year party and fundraiser, we recorded this video with Manifold Public Design by Peter Pisano and Joe Horton. It's a creative design studio. They design both virtual spaces and physical spaces. You should check their website out, some amazing work. So this is a little bit about what we do, who we are, what HealthcareMN is all about.
HealthcareMN events really bring the who's who of the Minneapolis, St. Paul, Twin Cities healthcare industry. It's the network that I enjoy the most in the Twin Cities.
HealthcareMN's mission is to accelerate healthcare innovation here in Minnesota. We want to create a platform that is affordable and accessible. And to do that, we try to keep 90% of our programming free.
I love that HealthcareMN is volunteer-led and is passionate about the mission. It's just people giving from their heart and caring about other people and caring about themselves in the state of the ecosystem that are all here to celebrate and move the organization forward and the ecosystem as well.
I see HealthcareMN playing a critical role in the advancement of healthcare innovation here in the Twin Cities. Chiefly, it's another great avenue for entrepreneurs and some of those maybe earlier stage companies to be able to get together with other owners, entrepreneurs, founders, to get together with maybe investors, to get together with other stakeholders, with the large public companies here in the Twin Cities.
It starts small, and that's where HealthcareMN, I think we excel, is the small things, helping the people make small connections that could end up, snowballing into something amazing and big.
Built 4 companies here over the last 30 years. HealthcareMN was instrumental in my start of Carrot Health, which was my previous company. Just having a place where we could go and meet other entrepreneurs, people in the industry, investors. It was really a nice thing for the community, and so now I'm on the board and giving back.
Our healthcare system is not working, and we need to do lots of things around the delivery, healthcare delivery, make it much more cost-effective. So we need really innovation to make healthcare more affordable. Otherwise, we cannot afford healthcare in this country because it's just outrageously expensive and ridiculous right now.
So when you think about the different and often conflicting incentives of different sectors, very often some of those biggest problems we need to solve in healthcare sit in those intersections, yet because they sit in the intersections, they're often overlooked. So where HealthcareMN comes in is bringing those people from those different sectors together.
There can be 200 problems in your life, and you'll be worried and stressed until there is a health problem. Then that is the only problem you have. If you have health, health is wealth.
That is it. Thank you. I thought it came out really nice. So we'll just start with a very brief introduction for HealthcareMN for a couple of new faces that I see here today. A lot of you are returning, so that's always good to see returning faces. For some new people here, HealthcareMN, we are the home for healthcare innovation, and we are accelerating healthcare innovation here in Minnesota with a big focus on early stage entrepreneurs. And what we do is based around 4 pillars. So one is grassroots community building. We are building a community around innovation. Anybody who's interested, who's working, whether you are a clinician, whether you're working in the industry, a big part of it is startups that we work with. So we bring together everyone in one room through different programming over the year. The other piece we do is navigating the ecosystem where our events are planned in a way where we shine light on different parts of our ecosystem and kind of informing everyone what are they doing. Last year we did a year-long connections and conversation series where we brought ecosystem partners, spotlighted them, talked about what everyone was doing. Just one example. Then learning and development through mentorship, and then education, storytelling, and ecosystem visibility. So we have a podcast, Patient Innovations podcast. There we talk about different health conditions monthly, and we bring a patient, a physician, and an innovator for each episode. So there are a bunch of different things, but with a common goal of bringing all the healthcare entrepreneurs together, talking with each other in one room. So that's what we do. Events and panels, pitch fest like this, WalleyeTank. In fall, we have a AI in Healthcare Forum where we bring together industry partners and startups working in the AI in healthcare space. So our key programs are the Pitch Fest, and the bigger programs are the AI Forum. And then every month we meet for a happy hour every first Thursday of the month. More casual, just come and talk, share your problems. That's where we identify what the challenges are, and that's how we design our programming. We are launching a lunch series that's starting in June, and then we have the podcast and a new series coming up, Humans of HealthcareMN, where we are spotlighting different members of healthcare community of HealthcareMN through a communication-based series. This is our team. We had our full team here. I just wanted to highlight Anshul. She's moved back to San Francisco. She traveled just for this event. So welcome, Anshul. And Matt just ran back to the hospital. He can, his wife, they're just expecting a baby any minute now. So this is our podcast team. I co-host with Colleen, and Shannon and Sam is our production engineer. We have our board here today. I just wanted to ask the board if they could stand for just a quick minute, please. Thank you. And from HealthcareMN, now let's come to WalleyeTank. So this is a special year. This is 10th year anniversary for WalleyeTank. It started in 2016 It was launched in Rochester by Jamie and Stephen. They just wanted to create a space for entrepreneurs to come together. And the first one, which was held in 2016 in Mayo, resulted in the Mayo Clinic establishing its Office of Entrepreneurship. In 2017, U of M joined hands, and since that year, it started happening twice a year. Once in spring here in Minnesota, in Twin Cities, and then once in winter back in Rochester. And that's how it has been for last 9 years. In 2019, the UMN Venture Center, Mary McCarthy, she took over co-hosting here, and she's also on our board. And that's how through the years now, last year when WalleyeTank was looking for a new home, she was instrumental in bringing it back to us here. We've been doing a similar program, Funders and Founders, and so we're so excited now to take over WalleyeTank. And starting 2026, this is our first one. Our hope is we just don't want to keep it to Minnesota. We are opening it up. This year we opened it up. We got 10 plus applications, especially outside Minnesota. So we have some of them here today with us. So that's our goal. We'll continue doing that. Most likely it'll be an annual fest, then happening twice a year. Like in the past, this is too much work to put together. So we'll do a good one, but we'll do it once a year. And moving to our partners, so everyone says it takes a village. This has taken a village. Wanted to thank, first of all, the awards partners for tonight. We have Safe Use, Frederickson, and Remplanish. They are sponsoring the awards that will be given to, cash awards that will be given to the junior reelers and the mid-reelers. We have community partners, CLA, Legacy Design and Development, QRX partners, Headwaters, Nathan Kellex, MinCup, and the Millie Institute. We are partnered with different organizations to offer mentorship for the startups that are participating today. We'll pair them up post-event based on interest from both the sides. And some of them are operational sponsorships. Some majority of them are mentorship. And the winner of the mid-reeler group will move to Minnesota Cup semifinals directly. Then we had a lot of promotional partners. The people you see here today I'm sure must have come through different group promoting them through their network. So we partnered with TechCom, who was doing it until last year, was very helpful in transitioning it over to us, in supporting us, setting this up. So great help there. We partnered with HIMSS Minnesota chapter, the Home Center for Entrepreneurship, MNSBIR, Beta, and Twin Ignition Startup Garage. Thank you, everyone. And most important is our venue partner that brings us here, Walker. Thank you so much for the partnership. We are super excited. Very amazing venue. Thank you. And with that, I want to invite Jacqueline Cassidy, the Corporate Partnerships Gift Officer from Walker, to share a few words here. Welcome, Jackie.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and welcome, everyone. Like Rashmi said, my name is Jacqueline Cassidy, and I work in development here with our corporate partners. And the Walker is so thrilled to invite WalleyeTank back here after a mini hiatus, right? Wasn't there like a 1 year hiatus? We're just so thrilled to host this space for innovation here at a place like the Walker that is a champion for innovation through the arts. It's been such a pleasure to get to know Rashmi and Duza through this process, and HealthcareMN. The arts and science seem to never really talk to each other that much, which seems strange because there is so much innovation that happens in both worlds. Artists are truly entrepreneurs, and this is a space that champions their work as contemporary thinkers and people who are tapping into our contemporary culture. So we like to spark curiosity here. I'm curious, how many of you have been to the Walker Art Center before? Oh my God, that's like way more than I was thinking. Some of you may have visited the Sculpture Garden across the street to see the iconic Spoon Bridge and Cherry. That's a partnership we have with the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board. And this is a 19-acre campus, for those of you who weren't so sure. We have galleries. Please come back when the museum is open to check out our exhibitions. It's interdisciplinary here, so we're deliberately the Walker Art Center, not the Walker Art Museum, because we are a center for arts across disciplines. So we have a theater on the other side of the building that's similar in size, where we host performing arts series. We have exhibitions in the galleries, and then, of course, our moving image programs, which happens right here in this cinema. So we're very pleased to share this space with you all today. As I was saying, the Walker provides this platform for artists to it's really R&D. You know, we're in this space of nurturing artists as innovators and nurturing that space of ambiguity that the artists live in. So artist practice, very similar to the scientist practice or the entrepreneur, you don't always know where you're going. You may be curious about something and pitch an idea or question something. And if you get the right people in the room together, you're able to make some significant impact and some significant change in our culture and in your case, in our healthcare system. So we are pleased to be a resource for you for that innovation. Maybe you have teams that want to do an offsite. Come talk to me. Maybe you could rent a space here, like the cinema. We also have event spaces that people book out for dinners, or you could have a brainstorming session. We also have a collection of over 12,000 pieces of work. And many people don't know this, but you can actually request to see any piece of art in the Walker collection at any time, and we will try our hardest to make that available for you to see. So use us as a resource for your creative innovation, your inspiration, your connection, maybe as an individual, maybe as a company, maybe as an aspiring company. I will be here all evening. I can't wait to see all of the presentations today. Come find me and talk to me about how your company, big or small or aspirational, can get involved with the work that we do at the Walker, because we truly cannot do this work without our corporate partners. And because of folks like yourselves, we're just so hopeful for the future of a possible collaboration with the arts and sciences. So thank you so much, and best of luck. I will pass it back to Rashmi. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Jackie. We can't thank enough, and I can't tell you how many already I heard outside that how beautiful this space is. So yes, everybody is loving the space, and we got some amazing support. I just wanted to give a shout out to the tech team and the events operations team as well. Very seamless operations. It's been wonderful working with all of you, and all our volunteers today. Couldn't have done this without everyone. And now, before we start the competition piece today, we wanted to hear directly from members of the WalleyeTank community about this platform and what it means to them beyond the stage. We want the participants today to see yourself in them and imagine they were sitting here in your shoes a couple of years back. They have made it big now, so some, inspiration for you all. Let's take a quick look. So past WalleyeTank companies continue to build incredible momentum. Q Rounds, founded by University of Minnesota physician Mike Pitt, has raised approximately $770K in angel funding, secured a $2 million non-dilutive NIH grant, and most recently closed a $1.8 million seed round by Bread and Butter Ventures. OneDose, co-founded by Tristan Heselton, who was also one of our participants in the AI in Healthcare Forum 2 years back. He continues to scale rapidly in the EMS space. The company recently announced a new funding round led by M25 with participation from co-found partners, bringing its estimated total funding to nearly $4 million. And they've expanded to nearly 3,000 EMS agencies across 40 states. That's just incredible. And on the student innovation side, Signal Graph founder Mandik Bora, he shared that being recognized as a WalleyeTank runner-up in Mayo gave him the confidence, the connections, and momentum that ultimately helped shape his entrepreneurial journey to Stanford. So he's a first-year engineering student in Stanford right now. So pretty inspiring, right? So one of my favorite things about WalleyeTank is that here we don't talk about success from your win or your loss. We talk about your network, your community that you're building, the exposure that you're getting, the numerous people that you meet. One of them might be your co-founder, one of them might be your investor in the future, who knows. So make those connections, talk to a lot of people, as many people as you can. There is this amazing group of judges sitting here in the front. Please chat with them after, get some feedback about your pitches. That's why we are here today. To continue the theme of ecosystem impact and founder journeys, we are excited to welcome someone whose work reflects both innovation and perseverance. Please join me in welcoming Anders Olmanson, CEO of Remplanish, to the stage for our founder stories and ecosystem impact spotlight.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to be a sponsor at WalleyeTank 2026. I'm the CEO and creator of Remplanish. We did the WalleyeTank back in 2021. So that was back during the pandemic when everything was virtual. When we did our pitch, we opened it pretending to be snoring. And I think some of the judges thought we fell asleep at the camera because we had some pretty shocked looks on their faces. And what I want to say is, it's really the ecosystem and bringing people together that's important. So it's the community. And for us, we didn't win WalleyeTank. But from there, we've gone on to go get second in Min Cup in 2023. We are launching in Europe this year. We have 17 people on our team. We're going to do over 8 figures in revenue. Really, it's all these things that, don't... Kind of what I want to say to the entrepreneurs is, dream big, but then also you have to put in the work. And it's going to be in ups and downs. Like there's going to be days when you think you're on top of the world and other days where you're like, okay, how are we going to survive this? And so just, be ready for that. But I think, believe in what you can do. And for us, our dream big is really we want to make airway health a pillar of lifelong health. And for us, that means we're going to have to change medical institutions and medical practice, but we believe we can do it. And I believe in all of you, and even putting yourselves out there right now. And we did, recently we were on Shark Tank about a month ago, so I'd say, and we landed 2 sharks on air. So I'd say maybe the walleyes are a little more hard than the sharks, I don't know, but, so thank you.
Thank you, Anders. Can we give a big round of applause for Anders? And now it's time to officially kick off the competition portion of WalleyeTank. Our first division is the junior anglers category, and to guide us through the junior anglers round, I'm excited to welcome an incredible ecosystem leader, entrepreneur, and HealthcareMN board member, Mary McCarthy.
It's amazing to see so many friends here. First of all, on behalf of everyone who has shepherded the WalleyeTank baby from inception to today, we're really, really thankful that Rashmi and HealthcareMN have taken the baby and continue to raise it to grow into a thing that serves more people, more entrepreneurs, and more investors in growing Minnesota. So, let's see. Great. So before we begin, I'd like to recognize our incredible panel of judges. So will all the junior anglers judges come up to the front here? We have Ashley Mahoney from MinCore, Bailey Bassett from United Health Group, Mark Oreshnik from Evolve Engineering, Michael Thorne from Mayo Clinic and Scapa Health, Thompson Aderonkini, CEO and founder of Nice Healthcare,
And lastly, Diane Rucker from Groove Capital and Tundra Ventures. So quite an esteemed and diverse panel of judges. So we're really fortunate that we've got such great support from ecosystem leaders to help startups refine their value proposition and grow in their confidence as leaders as well. So the So here's how it's going to work. Each company gets 2 minutes to pitch, and then it'll be followed by 3 minutes of Q&A from judges, and Pinar and I will help with timing everybody. We'll generally try to keep them to 2 minutes. If they go a little bit over, it's okay. We'll be kind, but please try to stick to the 2 minutes. Let's see. We'll give you a reminder at 1 minute and another at 30 seconds, and then Duza is going to be the tough guy and cut people off with the time's up if you go too far over. And then the audience, I encourage you to listen closely, kind of judge for yourself who's doing a really good job, clearly explaining the problem that they're solving, how they're solving it, do they have the right team to pull this off, and get investment dollars and return a nice return to their investors. So let's see. We're going to start then with our first company, and that is Kathleen Hustad. Kathleen, are you around? Oh, gotcha.
A few
Yep.
slides on who is winning, but this is the juniors anglers. Yeah.
Gotcha. So the winner of the junior anglers will get $2,500, and along with mentor matching and potential consulting dollars or consulting hours as well from QRX Partners and Legacy Design and Devices. Woot woot. And if the winner doesn't want these extra things, it'll go to the runner-up company because we're just trying to build here. And then the runner-up also gets $1,500. So that's amazing. Thank you for all the cash prize sponsors today. And then for the mid-level reelers, it's $5,500, which pays a couple lawyer bills. And then runner-up is $2,500 with mentor matching for all the winners. And as Rashmi said, we will match you with somebody who we think will really help you. We'll work with both the mentor and the startup company to find the right match for you. And then lastly, there's a People's Choice Trophy, and that is for all the Great Lakes, or the more, we used to call it professional level division. And that's where you all come into play, because you'll be judging which one of the Great Lakes reelers is your favorite. So more to come on that. So junior anglers. So the junior angler cohort is for very seed stage companies. These are the companies that haven't raised any money, but they have an idea, and maybe they have a bit of an MVP, minimum value proposition, minimum viable product that they are looking for feedback on, and customers on, and investors on. And so let's start. Then I already talked about each of our judges. So we've got Everkind. Kathleen, are you available?
Let me add one thing. So this year we're doing something different or new. There's going to be a QR code if you want to give them feedback in real time. So please, all right, Kathleen.
Raise your hand if you've ever been a family caregiver. This is for you. I'm Kathleen Hustad, founder of Everkind. The system failed my dad. He almost died. I was helpless. After 14 years at United Health Group, I knew the system. If I couldn't do it, who can? Unsupported family caregiving costs $1 trillion a year. No one is looking after the caregiver. Everkind is the infrastructure that's going to fix that. Today, the default is chaos. ChatGPT, Post-its, screenshots, information overload. Meet Everkind Care Operating System. CareNav lists the weight, what to ask, how to advocate, and a space to vent. The Care Journal is a paper companion. Caregivers tell us what to build next in our care community. One system, fewer gaps, less stress. Caregivers love us. We have traction since our soft launch in March. Our North Star is serving the 63 million caregivers in the United States. And we have two revenue streams. We're focusing on direct to consumer, and we have multiple paths to commercial and partnerships as well. That 4.47 million is reflected in our direct to consumer revenue. And thank you so much to the team. I think we have some support here today in person, and everybody that couldn't make it is behind this as well. So Amy, our COO, who scaled Vinsana to a 10 million. Yep. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks for that presentation. Appreciate it. I remember how hard it is to squeeze so much information into 2 minutes. One of the things I always struggled with my company, I know a lot of other founders did as well, is distribution. And I'm glad to see that you had another channel up there besides the direct-to-consumer as you head towards scale. But I just want to ask if you have any other thoughts or explanations on how you're going to scale and scale your distribution in the employer channel.
In employer, so employer is very crowded in the large space. There's lots of competition. I'm already speaking to a Fortune 500 company. There is interest, but I also know in my background, the real pain is of the small and mid-sized businesses. So I'm looking to expand through my network through, for example, the National Association of Women Business Owners. So I have a deep expertise in market strategy, as does my team. And in this environment, you have to pivot and really get to know the employer needs. And that really goes back to productivity, and we can show that value. Thank you.
What is the feedback that you're hearing from caregivers themselves, as well as from those who support the caregivers?
Yes, from the caregivers themselves, they love it. They just say, you need to get this out here. And actually, my MVP, I put out early on because people need that. It is solving a pain point. So I think it's really helping with that administrative burden. It's helped make some better decisions for family and take off the stress. But I want to get it into more consumers, get more perspectives, especially around multicultural families as well. So still work to be done, but very good early signs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story. Healthcare trend continues to rise across the industry. You cited readmissions as your ROI. How are you thinking about studying this as well as other causes related to your solution?
Yes, I think there are multiple ROI streams. And with readmissions, you want to look at it obviously from healthcare claims and then who's paying the claims. So Medicare, it can be employer. That's a big study and a big lift. And I think it's just starting off small pilots, right? And looking at the transitions of care are one of the biggest gaps, and the only person that continuity today in those transitions is the patient and is that caregiver. And then ROI, obviously we help support the caregiver. So I think we as caregivers also have our health needs that we suppress. So I think that's another hard savings opportunity. And there's other soft savings opportunities like employee productivity as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
So with so many of these new large language models coming out with the Anthropic and OpenAI, they're all coming up with their own health-focused programs that are offering to the consumer. Mm-hmm. What's really going to stop a caregiver from going to their product versus yours in the long run, since they're kind of off the shelf and easy to use right off the bat?
Great question. And guess what? They're already going to these companies already. So it's going to take time. It's going to take trust. We have proprietary prompts and technology, and we are in the caregiver workflows because we know still 80% of the caregiver's needs, that's in the head. A lot of that is pencil and paper. So we go into the workflows, and we also have a care community where the true caregivers come to us and tell us what's next. So definitely it is a competition that we have on our radar. We are model flexible, and we're looking down the road to serve the caregivers, and I'm confident that they'll come to us for our known expertise. Thank you. Thank you.
Next, Melanin MD. Archie. Oh.
If you want to give him feedback.
Lovely. Sorry. Okay. So Black and brown patients are about 52% to 62% more likely to be misdiagnosed with melanoma. As we can see, the data on Black and brown patient is between 4 and 5%. The synthetic database market is about $10 billion. That is going to be in 2030. And most dermatology right now are pushing towards switching to AI platforms. We actually believe that we can actually target more of like this market because we think that our servable addressable market is about like 40% of the US and the EU that people identify as people of color. Our solution is to create synthetic database where we actually have dermatology within the loop, and they are verifying these images, and we can make personal treatment for like each patient. We can make education training for like medical school and then like PA school. We are different because we actually have dermatology within the loop, and they're able to verify each image that the AI model actually makes. This is my team. My name is Archie Capet. I've created. Sorry, I'm a little jet lagged from flying, so sorry. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for being here with us today and sharing your strategy. My question is based on your buyer strategy, and how would you describe your first paying customer, and how would that evolve?
Yeah, actually, so like kind of what I was saying, I'm a little jet lagged. I just came back from Berlin, and the city of Berlin have a lot of developers that are interested in using synthetic database to like create their own platform. We've talked to dermatologists within the US and within the EU who have shown to us that they also feel a bit uncomfortable to actually diagnose Black and brown people. In 2011, it was about 47% in our research of dermatology who stated that they feel a little bit incompetent of diagnosing Black and brown people. So the need is there. The developer have reached out to us. there are dermatologists who have reached out to us and told us that once we build this is something that can be helpful for them.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks very much for being here today.
No worries.
Appreciate the presentation. I have a clarifying question. Are you creating a new database with Melanin MD, or are you enriching existing databases using an AI-enabled tool?
Right. Thank you so much. We are actually creating our own data set because the current data set out there in terms of like what we see in textbook and what we see online or different institution is not enough to help dermatology or medical school or PA school or nursing school. So we are creating our own database, and then in that way, we will be able to license those API to other developers who are creating their own platform.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So is that how you're getting funding, is by licensing it? Like as an MD, how would I use your information?
Right. So we will create a platform for you. So if you come across like a patient who have something that you're a little bit uncomfortable with, you take a photo of that, you run it through our data set, and that is able to assist you with that abnormality that you're actually looking at. So then you get to make the final call, as opposed to everybody's afraid of AI taking the job. But you actually are in the seat of making the final call.
And who's paying for that then? Is it the clinic itself would be the payer?
Right. So we do have quite a ways to like go to kind of like iron like those little kinks out, but we are hoping that, well, in Germany, what they're looking for us to actually do is partner with like insurance company, which I've had to meet like 10 of them, partner with them because then they are able to then factor that within like the payment form. Within the US, on the other hand, we want it to be something that dermatology have, and I know dermatology, you guys are super booked already. You have a bunch of things going on, but we do want it to like be something that the insurance pay for, and the dermatologists are able to advocate that they actually need what we are actually doing.
Time is up. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just had one thought, and that is at the University of Minnesota, there's actually a Center for Art in Medicine. So if you're not familiar with them, you should talk to those guys. All right, good. All right, next speaker is Aaron with Tread Beyond.
Close your eyes and picture your favorite place outdoors. Maybe a beach, a wooded trail, or a snowy morning outside. Now imagine the moment you take a step to get there, you can't move. Not because you don't want to, but because your legs aren't strong enough or your balance isn't good enough. You can see it, but you can't get there to enjoy it. Open your eyes. My product, Tread Beyond, can help you get there. Hi everyone, I'm Erin Michael, a school-based physical therapist with over 20 years of experience of working with individuals navigating mobility challenges every day. And what you just imagined is the reality for 70 million Americans and 1.3 billion people worldwide with a functional disability. When they try to enjoy the outdoors, they're stopped where the sidewalk ends. This winter, I watched children struggle during outdoor recess. Their walkers couldn't move over snow and ice, and their fear of falling kept them off the playground. Currently available products couldn't bridge the gap between indoor and outdoor independence. Tread Beyond fills that gap. It's the first of its kind all-terrain mobility platform, a single walker with different bases that swap in seconds without tools, usable over terrain outdoors and seamlessly indoors. The frame uses a tool-free locking system so it easily travels by any means. Tread Beyond isn't only for someone born with a disability, it's for anyone whose mobility is challenged at any age for any reason. I'm seeking a licensing partnership because my goal is to get Tread Beyond to users as fast as possible. No company is truly focused on outdoor walking devices. And with an aging population and growing emphasis on outdoor activity to support overall health, Tread Beyond can set the standard and reach millions of people worldwide and millions in the U.S. My advisory team brings expertise that Tread Beyond needs: accounting, medical device merger and acquisition, and parent advocacy. What I need help with is two things: patent attorney support for my non-provisional patent and engineering support to produce a patent-ready design package. What started off as an idea to help children play in the snow is now an innovation. Okay.
Oh, what do you think about this walker?
Good.
It's what?
Good. It's good.
Okay. I was just going to say it started with just a simple idea, and now it's turned into an innovation where I hope to give people independence wherever they want to go. Okay.
Thank you very much. It looks like there's a strong need for what you're creating. Thank you for sharing it with us. I have a question about how the walker adapts from one type of terrain to another. Like you showed in one case a walker on sand, in one case a walker on snow. How do you adapt when you're, say, going on an ice rink and then going to a parking lot?
Yeah. And I, being a PT for so long, I have interacted with a lot of devices, so I've kind of kept a mental list of things I like and don't like about the devices that are out there. To speak to that, at the bottom of the frame, there would be an interchangeable module. So the legs would insert into the top of the bases, and there's a IP technology that I'm patenting that allows for that quick release, but also a secure attachment. And so thinking about that, so you would put on your wheel so you can go outside, bring your bases with you to go ice skating and put those on quickly and then swap them back out. So there isn't a need for many devices. Actually, there isn't anything out there like this, but a lot of users that already use walkers, I think it's about 33% of people who do, have multiple devices. They have a walker, they have a cane, they have a rollator. And so this really eliminates that need. It gives you an all-in-one and lets you really be independent across all situations, which is what walkers these days are designed for, just the indoors. This one's designed for indoors, outdoors. So,
following up on that, do you see any challenges for patients being able to switch on their own from bases to bases?
Two parts. One, with the actual mechanism of swapping it out, it's supposed to be easy. It's a very simple in and out mechanism, either like a push button release or a pin mechanism, and there's some other things that can also be tried. But the second part is, how do I know what to use and when to use it? That would kind of go along when you're looking to buy it. Depending on a person's level of need for stability, or they want some mobility and versatility, would help guide the person about, okay, maybe I would think about, out in the snow, I really don't feel comfortable, so I'm going to use these long skis. But someone who has a little bit more balance could put on the short skis on the front and the rounds in the back, and you get a little bit more mobility that way, but also stability. And then on the round bases, I had the idea to put on different surfaces, contacts, based on whatever it is you're going over. So one design is that it's just a solid base, all-terrain situation, but then also we could swap in and out and have different surface contacts because those surfaces interact differently depending on what they are.
I think this is a great idea. I come from a background of trauma and critical care, so working a lot with PT and OT and trying to get our patients to mobilize more and ensuring that they have the functionality when they go home. Have you thought more into how you go about the laterality of the device to ensure that they can do more lateral movement? Because a lot of it looks more more longitudinal, kind of one way.
Yep. So you really get that straightforward motion with the ski options. That's like the most conservative stability approach. The round bases kind of provide that mix. There's a little bit of ability to turn, but it has a little bit of a wider base. And then with the wheels, you do get more of that option to go straight or to swivel, because they'll have a mechanism that you can either lock it straight or you can unlock it and allow the wheels, to turn more easily. And then another unique feature to get that more lateral. Okay. All right, thanks.
Don't talk to her after.
Lexify Health is next with Felicia.
Have I programmed you guys Pavlovian yet?
Okay. I'm Emmanuel Fletchier, founder and CEO of Lexify Health. Lexify eliminates the time, cost, and risks of translating clinical or medical policy into production-ready outputs. There are over 35 million prior auth or CMS policy in the US, and everyone requires clinical policy logic translation into code, manually by senior data scientists or analysts. That is an 8 billion data burden that produces 0 patient care values. The same policy gets implemented differently everywhere. That inconsistency is a safety risk, determine who gets care or not. Lexify eliminates that. Upload any clinical or medical policy, select your data environment, receive 7 production-ready outputs in under 5 minutes, clinical SQL, logic spec, test case, QC report, pattern wrapper, metadata, and plain language. Lexify has an inbuilt hallucination prevention mechanism that says the same policy get implemented every time. There are 3 layers of clinical policy. The first is the computable logic becomes SQL, semi-computation becomes metadata, and narrative becomes plain language. Most tools today only operate on one. Lexify produces all. Lexify Live since March 22nd, no login, and have been validated on real CMS policy. I have 7 years of doing this manually that Lexify automates, and I have an MPH in public health data science. Lexify is live. The next client is NEST. We are raising $350,000 for a REST API, EHR schema library, and incorporation. What I need is one health system CDO introduction, go-to-market mentorship, and if you invest in healthcare tech, let's talk. Everything I just said can be verified by scanning the CR code.
Overall, I think it's a great idea, especially when it comes to reducing a lot of the administrative burden that we have to deal with in the hospitals from day in and day out. One question I had was kind of focused more towards your moat, specifically when it comes to Epic, Snowflake, and more of these other well-prompted kind of large language models. What is the moat when it comes beyond the domain-specific prompting that you do within your platform?
Yeah, firstly, let me make a correction. Lexify is not a ChatGPT, it's an infrastructure. So Lexify has an inbuilt mechanism where because before building Lexify, I did a research on 8 different frontal models because my focus was how to prevent hallucination. So from that, understanding, I was able to understand that 8 of the frontal model from 6 vendors has a problem where if I told them to make an error, it didn't make an error. So the focus is to build Lexify, engineering prompt at the base level where we were able to reduce hallucination.
Great, thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to ask my favorite question. This is the thing that kills every healthcare startup is distribution, or lack thereof, actually. So have you thought about distribution for your product? And can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, I thought of that a lot. The first thing, we have 3 different payment modes. The first is, because Lexify is new, so we give an opportunity for people to try it. As I say, you can scan a QR code and upload any policy, you'll get a certain production output. The second thing is we go for professional. We reduce the amount because what we understand that the US doesn't have a clinical policy infrastructure. We have Epic, but each policy, for example, if you're a Mayo Clinic, you might have the opportunity to hire advanced clinical data scientists or data analysts. But what about rural clinic in Minnesota or rural health system in other part of the US? So we reduce that to $45 for professional any analyst can buy that. And also $49 per month. And also we have the enterprise stage that based on our ideas, enterprise can inject our system into their database and we'll produce and we'll be able to discuss that as we go on.
Thank you very much. You did a great job of showing what the market is. Could you tell me who your primary customer will be or which customer you're going after first and why?
That's a really good question. I believe that my everyone in this room are my potential customers because, for example, a medical device company, before someone uses your product, there will be someone that will be able to translate that policy into a code. So Lexify does that. We go to a clinic or a hospital, also like CMS policy, medical policy, prior authorization. These are all potential customers of Lexify Health, and we believe that starting with WalleyeTank, we can be able to reach our potential goals.
Thank you.
And Chronican with Kelson Bain. Yes. And this is for the next one? Okay.
Okay, we're good. Awesome. Hi, hello, my name's Kelson, and I'm representing Chronican. As many of you know, back in 2023, Dr. Vivek Murthy addressed the nation, letting us know that social isolation and loneliness has a direct negative impact upon our health and should be registered as an epidemic. To combat this, Chronican is set up to take the digitally focused generations and get them interacting with the physically preferred. We're setting up a secure account platform where you can submit your memories, your photos, and at the end of the month, we're going to put all of that into a booklet that then is sent to your loved ones in care facility. Because this is our primary focus, we're also setting up a way to capture those reactions to the booklet and feed that back to the family, completing the loop and strengthening that bond. As that's our primary focus model, we're also going to be working as a secondary, working directly with the care facilities. Those who are already interacting with these people daily, now they'll have additional topics of conversation and making sure that they can highlight local events or resources. We know that Chronican works and the direct impact that it may have. And we know that because actually our primary founder was able to successfully create a startup back in Australia a couple years ago. Based upon the successful pilot and knowledge of our competitor, we know what works, what doesn't work, and what we can improve upon. Our team consists of somebody who knows business, somebody who really knows technical architecture, and design with an emphasis on user experience. Each of us has somebody important to us who could benefit from this service, so we have passion for this business, and we want to see it done right. Our ask today is to connect with those who are in the age services sector, and if you have an interest in our beta that launches ideally in June, get in contact with us. Thank you.
As someone who lived far from parents, I appreciate this idea. I'm really curious, like, you know, you're charging a certain amount per month. Like, what's to prevent someone from, you know, seeing that and like, oh, I'll just do this on my own? I mean, obviously the follow through is probably less, but what's your selling point to really convince someone?
Our selling point is primarily, I think, that we are devising this service that is proven, that others enjoy it, that they enjoy the format that we're presenting, and that the array of templates that we set up will be somewhat approachable to those in circumstances where they need larger print, they need things clearly defined. Our printers that we're looking at will have high definition to make sure that images are very clear.
Appreciate the focus here. My question is regarding the pilot that you had mentioned. How did you measure success across social isolation, well-being, or even caregiver stress? Can you tell me more about that?
I can only tell you what I know from my partner. To my knowledge, they saw a major impact just from those who received it, that joy of seeing what family is doing. And that connectivity, that engagement is the return on investment primarily. The cost was great as a business to keep in mind, but it's that connection that was the driving force.
Have any of the facilities given pushback that it's an added burden on their caregivers?
Not to our knowledge yet. We're already in talks with Leading Edge Minnesota, identifying that there is a market gap for this and that we should pursue it.
Is the intent to be a subscription to the families of the patients, or is it to directly to integrate with a caregiver, ideally a facility business model?
Our primary model is for business to consumer, so the family itself. The facility would be secondary that we would like to work with later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is BuzzCare, Stephen and Levi.
Just here today.
Oh, okay, good. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. So that your time doesn't start yet?
Hi, my name is Stephen, and I'm one of the founders of BuzzCare, the company that is going to change the future of rural prescription delivery. Over the past decade, nearly a third of pharmacies have shut down nationwide, affecting rural communities the most. For those still operating, long-distance deliveries are rarely feasible or profitable, with many unable to offer any delivery at all. And amongst those that do, most are limited to short-range trips. Elderly residents, a significant portion of rural communities, tend to need more medications more frequently and face higher transportation barriers. Sometimes, distance isn't even the issue for these residents, but rather their inability to leave their home entirely. Around 45% of all U.S. counties contain at least one pharmacy desert, and in those counties, 48 million Americans are currently facing these issues, and this number is only growing. As you can see, each one of these dots represents a pharmacy desert. A pharmacy desert is any town that is 10 or more miles from the nearest pharmacy. The biggest problem with this graphic is that, well, this is ridiculous, and that more and more of these dots are showing up every single year. One of those dots is a town called Boy River in Minnesota, with a population of only 26 people in the 2020 census. The residents we spoke with faced over a 2-hour round trip just to access their medication. Imagine having to give up that much time and money just to access a necessity that people in urban areas can get delivered to their doorsteps within 30 minutes. BuzzCare is here to make rural prescription delivery up to 70% cheaper and 5 times faster, helping pharmacies to reach more patients. We make this possible by using drones to deliver the medication, either directly to customer doorsteps or to convenient pickup locations in their area. BuzzCare stands out in the market for 2 key reasons: our dedicated focus on rural America and our cost-effective solution for pharmacies. By prioritizing underserved communities and providing an affordable delivery model, we bridge a critical gap that our competitors overlook. We are soon to begin raising $850,000 to launch pilot programs and prove this at scale. If you're interested in being a part of the future of rural healthcare, let's talk. With BuzzCare, the sky is no longer the limit. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. Are there any technology constraints with the range that you need to hit to solve this problem?
Of course, it varies based on geography. So one good example is in the very northern communities of Canada. They can be oftentimes 650 miles away from the nearest pharmacy, and there are tribal communities up there. So at distances that extreme, it is a challenge technology-wise. There are things that are coming through the pipeline, like hydrogen fuel cells, that are going to enable that distance to be closed. But generally speaking, the distance isn't a huge issue for the types of platforms that we're using. So to give an example, we will be acquiring a platform later this month that has a range of about 250 kilometers.
I have a question in terms of when it comes to who you've engaged, within industry. But first question, it would be more directed towards: have you had conversations with, FAA guidance and so forth, and making sure you stay within proper zoning laws and all that? What what have those conversations come to at this point?
Yeah, so with the FAA, we need what's called a Part 135 certification. That is the same piece of licensure that FedEx uses to fly 737 airliners filled with packages. So it is quite a big lift for a small startup. We do have the ball rolling on that process, but it's about a 2-year process. In the meantime, we are launching pilot programs in Alberta, Canada with Medicine Hat College to be able to prove out a safety case while we bring the technology back home.
So mail delivery of prescriptions is possible, and that was one of your alternatives. So it seems like really the immediate need for a prescription, like I need to start this prescription in the next hour, is really maybe your initial market. Do you have any idea like what percentage of prescriptions fall into that?
That specifically, I do not. I will say we are looking primarily towards long-term care facilities right now, helping to reduce their costs and keep those rural facilities alive. And another use case is we sent out a survey recently, and one of the responses we got was from a mother that lives in the southern part of Minnesota. Her son had a liver transplant and needs medication on a regular basis so that the body doesn't begin to reject that organ. On more than one occasion, her shipment from UPS has been delayed, which results in her having to drive all around to source this medication, even crossing into South Dakota occasionally, because not having that medication is not an option for that family.
One more question for you. Pharmacies, particularly in rural areas, often function not just as prescription delivery, but also as medical supplies. Do you have a plan to expand into medical supply delivery, or is your focus going to stay on prescriptions?
Primarily focused on prescriptions, but also expanding into medical supply delivery, lab specimen transport, and even EMS resupply for EMS crews in rural areas.
Thank you.
Now we're going to transition to another ecosystem spotlight with Ryan Johnson at Frederickson. Hey.
Hi, everyone, and thanks for coming today. I'm Ryan Johnson, a corporate healthcare attorney at Frederickson and Byron, where I practiced for over 25 years. I want to say thanks to the judges, thanks to the contestants, thanks to the Walker, and to HealthcareMN. This is exactly the kind of program we like to support, one that helps build relationships and build the healthcare innovation ecosystem. A bit about the firm. We have over 400 lawyers across the country, and many of us spend much of our time, most of our time, representing healthcare companies, investors, inventors, device companies, pharma, payers, everything across the spectrum. And we represent them in financing, exits, intellectual property, data rights, and everything healthcare companies need. I look forward to talking to you over the break. Hope to see many of you later. Thanks.
Ryan is also a board member on HealthcareMN. I should have said that. Next, is Devontae here? Hey, come on down. Devontae Davis, he is one of the main sponsors of the Cash Awards. I've personally been working with Devontae for, a year and a half or so. And he's going to talk a little bit about safe use, which will, I'm sure, raise a few eyebrows.
Thanks, Mary, for that very pleasant introduction. Yes, as I see a lot of familiar faces here, I even see one of my professors here. I was shocked to see that. How you see Ifanar? So yes, safe use is a device that detects narcotics to see if it's contaminated in 2 seconds flat. It is an indirect diagnostic to healthcare, which it helps with patient triage as well. So imagine this, it would be a modular kiosk in a stigma-free environment such as this. A patient or a community, a community person would walk up to it, it's autonomous, scan our narcotics, get a result if it's safe or not safe. If it is not safe, it's the bridge of care method through a QR code on the kiosk that would take it to the healthcare entity that sponsors it within that governing territory. When that person fills out that QR code, the HIPAA is translated to their medical facility, so we do not deal with any HIPAA regulations at all. but it also allows the emergency room to know that this patient is coming in, so therefore their triage can be faster to get that person the help they need. Because when you ingest something that's like fentanyl, you are on a finite amount of time, and we've seen many, many people die from just trying to study at the library. So we're trying to stop that as fast as possible. So thank you, Mary, for allowing me to speak, and I hope to hear any questions you guys have later. Let's continue the show.
Now we get to have a break. So please join us out in the atrium area. Network your pants off, but not really. Try to meet at least 5 new people.
10-minute break.
Try to meet 5 new people.
Okay, so we will get started. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And this space just makes this event even more special. And thank you again for sharing this space with us and with our community here. My name is Punar Karajamandic. I am a professor of health economics, healthcare risk management at Minnesota Carlson in the Department of Finance. I am participating in this community also as a humble startup co-founder as well. And I am very well aware of all the challenges and the excitement and the hair loss and the hair graying that all of these innovators here have been going through. And I have to say, like, my own startup journey, I think like maybe like couple years, but those years are, like in dog years and stuff. Like, I think each year should count 2 or 3 years of kind of adds to your life in many ways, in multitudes of ways. So really, really proud to be part of this community. And this new level, the mid-level realers category is particularly exciting because these founders that you're going to see, I mean, not only they're asking really, really exciting, interesting challenges, solving them, but they're also navigating one of the most critical stages of any startup growth and any founder can relate to. And they're trying to prove their product market fit, and at the same time, they're trying their strategy and roadmaps, and at the same time, they're trying to scale, and they need a lot of resources and mentorship, financial and non-financial, and it's a very, very challenging space to be, and we all know healthcare is not really easy for itself. It requires that resilience and interdisciplinary thinking and that deep understanding of the very complex healthcare system that we have in the United States, and also like this focus that they have to be. So today's founders that you're going to see in this category are going to be stepping in that challenge with remarkable creativity, as I know you will agree with me. Before though we go into that, one thing that we want to celebrate is the resources that we have in our community and the amazing connected events, and that they each support each other and that we all benefit from. And so with that, I would like to invite Kaylin Oliver to stage to share with us about Minnesota Cup, which is coming.
Thank you, Pinar. Hi, everyone. Wonderful to see you all today. I'm so glad that you all took some time out of your Monday evening to celebrate the innovation and the entrepreneurship that's happening here in Minnesota and beyond, which is exciting. My name's Kaylin Oliver. I am the director of a program called Minnesota Cup. Really quick overview, if you don't know what Min Cup is, we are a program based actually out of the University of Minnesota that has been established for about 22 years now to support early stage founders really across every industry, just like this. What we do every year is we select the 90 top startups from across the state of Minnesota to provide free mentorship, education, networking, and pitching opportunities. And then we're able to award about $400,000 in non-dilutive, so no strings attached capital and cash prizes every year to really help these companies start to make those initial steps that they need to as they continue to scale, maybe seek additional investment, kind of build out those prototypes, everything like that. And I'm here today because we have a really exciting partnership with the WalleyeTank and have for several years, where actually the company that wins this this round will have an automatic placement into our life science division as a semifinalist this year, meaning they're getting access to all of those resources. It's especially exciting because it means We actually had about or over 1,200 individual companies apply this year. So you are having the chance to bypass that challenge and really earn your spot in this competition by performing well today. So a little bit of extra pressure on our presenters today, which is very exciting. But really just want to thank HealthcareMN and all of our partners here in the ecosystem for making this such a wonderful place to start a business. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Caitlin. And, Minnesota Cup is just one of those things that just like shine every entrepreneur. And so highly, highly encourage you to submit your ideas. And it's real resources. It's real resources in terms of people, mentors, and financial as well. And speaking of resources, again, especially this stage of companies, one thing they need to find is funding. And there are many different ways of funding, but there is a very special way of funding. And for that, I am going to introduce you to Pat Dillon, who is the president and CEO of and founder of MN SBIR, as our next ecosystem spotlight.
That's who she is, right up there. Yeah. Hi, everyone. So how many of you have heard of America's Seed Fund? SBIR, STTR, America's taxpayer dollars used to support R&D with the goal to commercialize technology. So PNR is a recipient of SBIR and STTR funding. Anders is a recipient of funding through these two programs. Is Ashley still here with Mommies? Yep, there she is. Any other SBIR funded companies? Gavia, Bio. So all these things that Caitlin said and others, really important source of funding for companies, whether you're a startup or an existing company. And so what we do at Minnesota SBIR, and we're a nonprofit, is we help companies navigate the complicated waters of federal funding. And, you might think it's a grant, which it is, but it's also a contract. It's also a cooperative agreement, depending upon the federal agency that you're working with. And we run across all different areas of science and technology. And granted, we deal a lot in the life sciences arena, which the National Institutes of Health, which is the largest funder of biomedical research in the country, is about $1.4 billion. But then we have other agencies like the National Science Foundation that also funds biomedical research, and the Department of Defense, or now the Department of War. I'm old school, it's the Department of Defense. But these agencies, fund high risk, high payoff R&D with the goal to commercialize. So we're here to support companies along that pathway, along with our partners, with the University of Minnesota, with Mayo Clinic, with DEED, and others, to help shepherd these companies through that pathway. And you know what? We're the best deal in town because we're free. So, and I have a passion for these two programs. I've been doing it for 30 years. We have a tremendous board of directors, which is made up of companies, along with other people that have been there, done it, that have won this funding. So give us a look. We're here to help, and we just want Minnesota innovation to make it to the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pat. And you may think you're a grant writer, which I thought I was before I met Pat. And yeah, this is a very, very different thing. And Pat is there just from like ideation, connections. But I don't know how to do my budget. People at the university who used to help me. There's Pat and connects you with people. And you're submitting your application. you upload all those files into NIH's ERA Commons and Assist system. Pat says, you're missing a form. You need to get that one. And so thank you so much for all that, Pat. Like this ecosystem would not be able to do this without you and your work. Thank you. Okay, now the time has come. Let's meet our judges. Maybe you can see the pictures, but maybe the judges can say hi to the audience. We have Chris Ross from Aegis Ventures. Okay, Frank Jaskulke from Avio MedTech Consulting. Kurt Waltenbaugh or Kestrel Rising. Perry Hackett from the University of Minnesota. Philip Ebner from JP Morgan Chase. And Jim Southwick from Greater MSP Partnership. All right, well, thank you so much for everyone. And now I would like to invite our first pitch, Carolyn Berneman by Meld Bio, and I'm going to try to do this job. All right, same rules apply, 2 minutes.
There are 500,000 Americans and 10 million people globally who depend on kidney dialysis treatment to survive. And for the vast majority, this means going to a dialysis center multiple times a week for treatment. Peritoneal dialysis, or PD, is a home-based treatment that can be a better option for many patients, but its expansion is currently crippled by a logistical bottleneck, shipping 500 pounds of water every month to every patient. At Meld Bio, we're decentralizing this supply chain. So instead of shipping heavy fluid long distances from centralized plants, our technology produces PD fluid near the point of care in dialysis centers. Our compact system purifies, mixes, and packages up to 1,000 liters daily. Built-in controls bypass the need for a full clean room while still ensuring the product's safety. Our key innovation is a novel sterilization method that produces bioequivalent fluid with a shelf life of months, but without the cost, energy, or product damage of traditional heat sterilization. We use a razor blade model for our business, and we're targeting rural dialysis deserts first, where providers are desperate to break the current fluid manufacturing duopoly to expand home care. Long term, we'll scale to decentralized manufacturing of many large volume parenteral solutions to address critical supply chain vulnerabilities. Our team has already secured $1.6 million in non-dilutive funding and a patent. We've conducted over 200 customer interviews, built a working prototype, and have been accepted into the FDA's Emerging Technologies Program. By bridging the gaps between engineering, medicine, and business, our team has proven that we can turn our broad expertise into tangible results, and that's exactly how we'll capture this market. We're now raising $1.5 million to develop our commercial MVP and to secure FDA Advanced Manufacturing Technology designation. Up to 7 million people die annually from a lack of access to dialysis. Join Meld Bio in bringing life-saving care directly to the patients who need it most.
So tell me more about your customer endpoint. What is the system they have to install? Who are they, and what are their barriers and their issues in getting it?
Yeah, so our primary customer would be independent dialysis clinics. So currently, a good portion of the ecosystem is taken up by a couple of big competitors, Fresenius and Baxter, working with DaVita. But there's a lot of independent clinics who currently don't have access to expanding peritoneal dialysis. And so we're not looking to take the customers who are on PD with Fresenius or Baxter, but we're looking to expand into other customers who are other patients who are currently having to go into the dialysis centers. So the dialysis center would buy the machine and would provide an operator to run it. This machine could make enough fluid for up to 100 patients, but highly scalable. And then that fluid can be delivered to patients' homes to support more home-based treatment.
I love your idea. I understand the sterilization part, but if I understand it right, you're taking water out of municipal water supply. Do you need to also remove things like chlorine, fluoride, other kinds of things? And do you have a method for doing that?
Yeah, so actually the first step in our system is a water purification process. And so that removes some of those things that are coming from the municipal water system. And of course, before this gets installed, we would run a panel to make sure there's nothing else that are outside of those bounds. And if there were, we could add additional stages to that water treatment. But essentially, first we purify the water, and then we add back in the stuff that we need, the salts and sugars that are in the fluid, and ensure our final product is still sterile.
So talk a little bit about unit economics. Your cost per gallon per liter today versus the competition, and then at scale, what will that look like?
Yeah, so our overall cost of goods sold for a PD fluid bag, which a patient would use 4 to 5 of these a day, comes down to $175 between the concentrates, the fluid bag itself, the connectors. But we would sell that to the dialysis centers at a price of about $10 per bag. And this is comparable to their existing prices that some of these bigger competitors can get, but that some of these smaller dialysis providers aren't yet able to get at that low cost because of the economies of scale. But this allows them to reach that cost, but at the scale for their patients.
So what's the IP that's involved with this?
Yeah, so we have IP around the decentralized system that does the mixing and packaging, and then we're also developing IP around that sterilization mechanism, working closely with our IP lawyers as that continues to develop.
You said 1.5 million de-risk the regulatory path. How much do you need between de-risked and, say, like a commercial pilot?
Yeah, so one of the unique things that we're coming up against because of the scale of our technology is that it's not a manufacturing plant. We don't want every place to have to be certified as a manufacturing plant, but it's also not always looked at as a device, which is why we're looking at this AMT, or Advanced Manufacturing Technologies designation. That's pretty new from the FDA. That's really supporting these point of care systems. And so our goal with this 1.5 million is to get to that designation. Okay. And I'll talk with you later more about that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carolyn. Thank you. All right. Next up is, please welcome Dr. David Smith presenting Delta Chase LLC. Let's see. How do we do this?
You have to go way back.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
You had me.
I think I have you here. And the QR code first.
And where do I touch?
Yeah, next.
Okay.
I think you can go with the right is the easiest.
I can go here or where?
I think Dusa
Right
told
here.
me to do that.
Okay, greetings. Hey, I'm Dr. David Smith. I'm the founder and inventor for the Sage Rebreather. We're actually reversing brain injury in the first 10 minutes at the point of injury. Exciting stuff. Unfortunately, many of us know that traumatic brain injury is responsible for more cost and human suffering than cancer, heart disease, and stroke. What most people are not aware of is that the prognosis is usually determined by the patient's pre-hospital CO2 levels. Doesn't matter what emergency room you end up in, it matters what your CO2 was to begin with. Has to do with the critical time period after a traumatic brain injury. When the buddy comes over and pulls you out of the way, you are emitting up to 1,200 times the amount of fight and flight chemicals that you would normally have in your bloodstream. That, unfortunately, raises your heart rate, but what people have overlooked is also increases your respiratory rate rather significantly. That is hypocapnia, and that leads to a very dramatic physiological change. You have a massive drop in cerebral blood flow down to 60%. Oxygen delivery ceases off the hemoglobin molecule, and it uncouples energy metabolism. What we did was we took genetically identical mice. We actually blasted them with an IED level blast and then subjected half to 3% CO2 and the other half to room air, did exploratory locomotor activity, and then sacrificed the animals and looked into the mitochondria, the little powerhouses of their brains. We looked for the metabolites that actually normalized with this physiology. Glucose, amino acid. It's as if the blast never even happened. It's not our first rodeo. I'm the inventor of the Q-collar. We now have nearly 10 million in sales in just 2.5 years. The Q-collar is all throughout the NFL and the military. The Sage Rebreather has 4 patents issued, 4 pending, and we are under U.S. Army contract already. We were just awarded $285,000 SBIR. We are after a market that's $770 billion in actual TAM. And we are looking for others to help join in this $5 million money raise journey going forward. So with that, I welcome any questions that you might have. Simple device, 3.5 ounces.
So thanks very much. I've got a question about the science part of it. So the tests that have been done around CO2 therapy have been done in, an ICU type setting or highly controlled. And you're talking about trying to do this with a mask. Talk a little bit about your ability to take that, sort of more clean room kind of testing environment into something that's a little bit tougher environment, a little bit more random environment.
Well, you're absolutely right that if we were testing in the ICU, it would be a little bit more straightforward in that regard. We did the same testing with our Q-collar. We did that testing out into the world, and we did the testing back into the academic institutions. So we would like to get these into the hands of EMTs out there onto the battlefield. We already have activity in the military to do this with us and for us to obtain that data and information for us in the field at the point of injury.
That's great. I guess my question is, I didn't ask it very well. What tests have you done so far that the mask technique can match the kind of clinical excellence that you can achieve in other kinds of settings where most of this research has been done?
So the very first thing we're going after is sleep apnea. This actually eradicates 93% of obstructive sleep apnea and 100% of central sleep apnea, at least in theory. So in other words, the amount of CO2 that we get you to rebreathe of your own gases is similar to what the literature has already put out. And we also have one of our advisors who did a rebreathing technology and found a 93% reversal in sleep apnea. So what we're going after first with the FDA, and we're there already talking to them, is actually an eradication of sleep apnea. We also eradicate altitude illness up to 14,000 feet. We've tested it already. Within 2 minutes of putting this device on, all of your symptoms are gone.
Kind of a follow-up question to that, is your go-to-market claim and the claim that's going to be on like your IFU in front of FDA eradication of sleep apnea?
So the first,
as a first entity, but like as elimination of sleep apnea, not amelioration of symptoms or something.
It'll be mitigation, amelioration, but you're right, probably not total eradication. Although in the literature there is a 100% eradication of central sleep apnea.
So then maybe follow on to Chris's. So you're making a claim of reversing brain injury. Do you intend to go to FDA with that as your claim, reversing TBI?
Well, as you know, they are persnickety about what your claim might actually be. So it depends upon what our ultimate data will be. So that's being accumulated right now as we speak with the U.S. Army. So we hope it's going to be a total reversal. In our animal studies, it's mind-boggling.
Okay.
So we'll have to see what we are able to get in the human studies.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. And now we have Cognition IQ team coming. Okay. Here's Sam. Okay, thank you, Sam.
Thank you. Do I just click the space bar here?
I think so. I think this is... So this is the feedback for Cognition IQ. And I think you can just go with this too.
Okay. Every year in the United States alone, there are 2.5 million student athletes that experience a sports-related concussion. And yet, experts estimate that up to 50% of these injuries go completely unnoticed or undiagnosed. Cognition IQ exists to end this problem. By combining a VR headset with NASA-validated technology, we can take objective brain measurements straight to the sidelines where it matters. So, how does it work? An athlete will put on the headset and track a red dot around the screen. While this is happening, the algorithm will capture 19 different eye movement metrics. This eye data is then pushed through the NASA algorithm and will output a cognitive impairment score in under 5 minutes. That data will be pushed through our companion app where trainers can view different cognitive insights and trends over time. Our team is multidisciplinary with backgrounds in computer science and data science, myself in finance, Ilham in business law and compliance, and Olivia in neuroscience. She also happens to be one of the most accomplished student athletes in St. Thomas's history. Right now, the market is polarized. The top 1% have access to elite clinical tools, but that leaves the other 99% stuck with subjective balance tests and multiple choice tests like SWAY and IMPACT. Cognition IQ exists to bridge this gap by bringing the high-resolution data to the masses. We are currently licensed for both the patent and the copyright from NASA. We are just rounding out our business competition season today, where we have successfully raised just under $30,000 of non-dilutive funding. We received the NASA algorithm package last week and are starting software development with a partnership on campus with the St. Thomas Stellar Lab, completely free of cost. We are then moving into our St. Thomas Athletic Program pilot this fall and will be pursuing SBIR funding in 2027. During just the last month, 200,000 student athletes have experienced a hit to the head that could impact them for life. Half of those were unnoticed. Cognition IQ is on a mission to make sure that no brain injury goes unnoticed, from impact to insights in minutes. Thank you.
Thanks for the presentation. Is your product a medical device regulated by FDA? And do you have your regulatory pathway sorted out at all at this point?
Yes, so we are still pre-MVP. We are trying to determine right now what clinical pathway we're going to go through. We are determining, or we're thinking about doing a general wellness tool to begin with, a clinical decision support, so that we can start testing on athletes and subjects as soon as possible. We're trying to get to market as quick as possible.
So I get that you're going after athletes who have high coordination, but it would seem to me that older folks that stumble and fall might be an even larger market, but the control abilities of these people to work with your device is questionable, I would think. What are your plans for expanding into the older age market?
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely something that we've thought about. Our team actually spent a year together researching for NASA last year. We presented our commercialization plan findings to them, and this was the preferred pathway on their end. That being said, we have looked into many other applications for the technology, so that is actually one of the applications. But yes, some sort of Alzheimer's dementia detection as well, different substance detection. There's a lot of different pathways that we've looked into.
Do you mind just briefly describing your revenue model? I assume it's software as a service, but also the device itself.
Yep, so it's software as a service. It also operates with a hardware component as well. But that hardware is off-the-shelf hardware. We found a VR headset that actually works with all of the requirements of the algorithm. So we are planning to have that as just a pass-through entity on the side of the software as a service portion. And it's a 3-year contract that's pretty typical with NCAA schools. So it'll just be a recurring cost for 3 years and then some sort of upfront implementation fee that covers the headset as well as education and such.
You mentioned 5 minutes to deliver a score. How fast do you need to be useful on the sidelines?
Yeah, so 5 minutes absolutely falls within that time frame. Most of the time when you see an athlete go out of a game, they're usually out for, I mean, there's that initial test, obviously, like the follow your finger and do you remember your name? That's something that we're trying to empower trainers to have better information. Obviously, if there's something extremely wrong, a trainer can tell right away, but it's not 100% of the time that trainer is going to be correct. So right now we're positioning as a clinical support just to give them the best information as possible and not necessarily substitute an athletic trainer. So 5 minutes, it would be pretty much up to their discretion.
Can you talk about your pricing model just really briefly and whether you're going to be able to get the cost down to the level that you can sell it to, say, high schools or junior colleges and not just elite facilities?
Yep, so the biggest thing with us is that our algorithm has already been developed by NASA, so that's completely developed. We're using off-the-shelf hardware, so a lot of our upfront costs have already been covered, I guess, by the government, which is amazing. But yeah, so we are doing as much as we can to make it as accessible for as many smaller schools as possible, because that is, you know, who we are trying to bring our technology to and who doesn't have access to it right now. So, okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you, Sam. They have a lot of notes. I have to scroll through. Oh, and Duja's laptop is not cooperating very well. Okay. Whoa. See that? You have a finance major. Oh. Okay. LilyPad. Well, please welcome Felicia Fox presenting LilyPad. And as Felicia is coming,
hello, everyone. My name is Felicia Fox, and I'm the inventor of the LilyPad. When I was 12 years old, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease known as rheumatoid arthritis. By the time I was 18 years old, I'd given myself over 200 injections. I dreaded every single one. I am the patient. Weekly injections, years of fear, no solution. So I built one as a senior year science fair project at the age of 18. What I later realized is I was experiencing symptoms of a needle phobia, or an intense fear of injections causing significant distress and behavior avoidance. And I'm not alone in that. 63% of children, 25% of adults. It is not rare. With over 600 million injections performed in the US every single year, and that number is only increasing, this is a big problem. Here's the chain reaction. Needle phobia leads to noncompliance, and noncompliance is expensive, costing hospital systems up to $300 billion annually, and per patient up to $44,000. And this is a preventable problem. This is where the LilyPad comes in, a reusable, rechargeable injection assistant device that uses a unique sensory stimulation, is completely hands-free in use, and it works in under 30 seconds, making it a better injection experience for everyone involved. We have one utility patent approved with additional provisional patents pending. We've raised over $150,000, majority of it non-dilutive, and we have both clinical excitement and parent excitement, showing major traction for a device like LilyPad. We are projected to raise $33.5 million in revenue by year 5, which is only 5.2% of our obtainable market, and we have a break-even point at year 4 from launch. We are ready to validate our product and raising $750,000 to do so. Please join me in changing the standard of care for injections through LilyPad. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Two-part question on distribution. How do you anticipate that you'd be getting this product out to the patients? And then you had talked about that $8 million break even. What's like the COGS, as far as you know them today, on getting this sort of product out to the patients?
Yeah, so I actually have, so our distribution strategy is actually a two-parter. So we're going to do parallel paths. So we're going to do a direct-to-consumer launch, and that'll be through our website, and we're working with local parent groups or autoimmune communities or IVF communities in order to get kind of the word out through there. We actually just partnered with a local moms group to get feedback and co-design our product to get it to validation. And then we'll also have a B2B launch as well in 3 to 5 years with clinical systems in order to get it out there and available for in-person injections in clinical systems. And then for the cost of goods, so our device, we're going to sell it at $95, but our cost of goods will be between $10 and $20 for the base device. And then we also have a disposable element, so that'll be kind of the recurring revenue, and that would be sold in packs of 5 between $10 and $18, as well as customizations for the younger populations, as well as anyone who wants to customize it.
Can you talk a little bit about your product uniqueness? I mean, there are existing auto-inject pens, and there's things that the GLP manufacturers have come up with and so on. Just give us a little bit more of the magic about why your device is different.
Yeah, so I actually created this with a lot of perspectives in mind. And so what I'm really trying to do is create an experience rather than just another device. I work with the SWPDC, which is the Southwest Pediatric Device Consortium, to kind of talk through this as well. And basically what I'm incorporating is a customizable device mixed with a sensory stimulation that minimizes pain and making something that's hands-free in use, which is very valuable in the healthcare system, as well as patients at home who are struggling to get their injections. You're combining multiple atmospheres that people struggle with on a daily basis to make it a well-used device in multiple different settings. So you're working with multiple different settings as well as multiple different populations, and accessibility is a huge part of that.
How would you reduce that to like 10 words to put on a package in a pharmacy?
Supporting you through every injection at any age. I'll go through the rest of my slides for you. There you go.
Thank you, Felicia. All right. Now we have. Okay, first I have to go through this. Also, lots a huge appendix. Okay. Those are yours. I'm so sorry. Okay. So let's do like this. This is Megana Helder with Octon Health, and first I'm going to give you the QR code, and then I'll give the stage to you. Thank you.
Aortic surgery is the deadliest cardiac surgical operation known to humankind. It is 9 times the mortality of a coronary artery bypass grafting operation, and because of this, patients aren't getting the preventative elective operation that they need. Only 1 in 8 patients get this elective operation from when they are diagnosed. And that elective aneurysm becomes an aortic dissection, which is the most life-threatening thing that can happen to you. 80% of patients do not make it to the hospital. And this all is underlined by a 70-year-old operative technique that is defined by what surgeons have available to them. And that is why, as a Mayo Clinic trained practicing cardiac surgeon, I invented the ELICA device. It works with the cardiopulmonary bypass machine. It plugs into surgeon workflow, and it provides continuous blood flow to the body and the brain, and it reduces operating room time by 4 hours. It takes what we currently do, which is known as circulatory arrest, the danger zone, where we cool patients to 18 degrees Celsius, stop blood flow to the entire body for 90 minutes, and takes it to continuous flow with the ELICA device. It doesn't take a cardiac surgeon to figure out if you stop blood flow to organs, that's bad. And that's what we fix. And this is aligned upside across healthcare. Patients' lives are saved. Hospitals take a $20,000 loss and turn it to a $10,000 savings. We lower total cost of care for payers and for investors. That's a $2.7 billion TAM on a Class 2 device with 10 to 20% multiples because we've been talking to strategic acquirers since day one. We're funding a $1.3 million seed round, looking for strategic partners and hospital system advisors as well as payer advisors, and happy to take any questions.
Well, that sounds very compelling. And I just wonder, when you go to an international or national meeting and you talk about this, that there aren't doctors lined up to invest and help you with getting off the ground and moving.
Yeah, and that's exactly how we started. So I self-funded this to begin with. Our first $1 million was raised from cardiac surgeon and cardiac anesthesiologists from December of 2024 to January 2025. Our lead clinical advisor is the chair of cardiac surgery at University of Pennsylvania and the secretary of Society of Thoracic Surgeons. And one of our investors actually wrote the 2020 aortic guidelines.
So what could go wrong?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, in 10 words. So we are using endovascular occlusion of the aorta to stop the blood from coming back through an open aorta. The nice thing for us is endovascular balloons aren't new technology, they're novel in this space, and that's where the IP really comes from. So the risk, right, is that balloon occlusion. What we've been able to capitalize is the work on endovascular balloon technology through the years to really mitigate those risks.
So I'm not a Mayo-trained clinician and very far from being one, just one of the highly diverse members of this panel. But I understand that a lot of aortic surgery, the transcatheter approaches now are a major growth area for medtech companies, and that open chest procedures are kind of a more mature, if not stagnant, area of growth for medtech companies. So what's the market like for this?
Yeah, I am so excited you asked that question.
So endovascular aortic operations are really relegated to the descending aorta. Once you enter the arch and the ascending aorta, which is what we're talking about, that's a 13% stroke risk with endovascular. So where we're headed is a hybrid approach. And we have IP that protects hybrid approach, and we are the platform device to get to endovascular. So thinking clinically, our IP protects totally endovascular with perfusion, minimally invasive options, as well as open surgery. This is the first platform product to get there.
Can you give us a view into your regulatory approval pathway?
Yeah. So we're a Class 2 device. We've had 2 large regulatory strategy companies, including Duvall & Associates, tell us we're a 510K. We have an identified predicate. I'm meeting with the FDA in person in DC on May 7th, and hopefully we'll have an answer from them that clarifies that 510K pathway.
Thank you so much, Dr. Albert.
Thank you.
All right. Now, this is our last pitch by Kaushik Suresh, Canary Applied Intelligence. And as I'm inviting Kaushik.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Canary AI is the intelligence for proactive kidney care. Today, readmissions is the biggest problem faced by hospitals. The annual US readmission cost is almost $25 billion, and kidney care is one of the areas where the readmission rates are 30 to 40%, and the current kidney hospitalization burden is $15 billion US. The problem is hospitals lose visibility after a patient's discharge. So at Canary AI, we are solving this with AI. So what we're doing is Canary Copilot. This is an AI model that's trained with Mayo Clinic platform's de-identified patient data. What we do is we give a longitudinal risk score to the care provider on which patients are going to be at a higher risk of readmission, and also provide a clinical and the financial risk of the readmission. And we also do a care coordination layer where we flag the follow-up tasks, monitoring gaps, and the care gaps to the care coordinator. And this technology is built alongside Mayo Clinic Platform Accelerate and with the clinicians at Mayo, and with the clinical mentorship from Mayo Clinic. So we are a team of engineers, data scientists from quantitative finance background, and clinical and regulatory background. We have a US-India team. And what we are doing is we're planning to raise $700,000 to complete, as a pre-seed round, to complete the hospital pilots and get to the first commercial deployment in less than 18 months. So we are looking at hospital partners who could pilot with us for reducing the kidney readmissions. And thank you very much.
So talk a little bit about data sources, the data that you're using to train the models, and then the data that's input into the Copilot. Is that user end? Where's the data coming from?
Yeah, so the data. So we are a part of Mayo Clinic Platform Accelerate. So we get access to Mayo Clinic's de-identified patient data, which is like almost 12 million patients and over 3 billion records. So we kind of use both structured and unstructured data. Structured data in the sense labs, medications, procedures, and comorbidities, diagnostic codes, and a lot more of the structured data. In the unstructured data, we get unique access to the clinical notes, ranging from progress to discharge summaries, and a lot more clinical notes as well. And another source of data is going to be the waveform data, which is the ECG waveforms and the ECG waveforms and the non-BP waveforms as well. And the next part of the platform is extending this to the imaging data as well, because right now we don't have it, but in the future we would be adding the imaging component to make the multimodal AI more accurate for clinical risk prediction.
So just a quick follow-up. So you're looking at predicting this risk before the patient leaves the hospital.
Yep.
Is there any additional data that's being collected once they are home that also gets fed in?
Great question. So we are looking at the risk, this to be a part of the discharge workflow. And we also have a wearable medical device and an RPM that's going to be like following up with the patient once they're being discharged, depending on the risk score. If it shows that, hey, this patient has a high risk of hypokalemia, we're going to be putting them on the ECG RPM, which can track hypokalemia alerts and also take a follow-up potassium test, which can kind of reduce, or you can it can give a signal to the hospital when to call the patients early on. Yeah.
So after training your model with the platform data,
Yeah.
what have you been able to produce in terms of, area under the curve, specificity, sensitivity?
Yeah.
What's your data look like?
Yeah, so we are trying to train a suite of models. If you look at the last one right there, in the right, the 30-day readmission model, the area under AUROC is around 0.82, and the AUPRC is like 0.41, and this is the initial data, which is trained on the Mimic4 data. And we're still validating our models with Mayo Clinic's data, so probably this metrics would be much better a month from now. Yeah.
What are you aiming to get it to?
We're planning to aiming to get it to 0.91 in the AUROC with a sensitivity rate of almost like 70%. Yeah.
So what is your product, and what's your business model for the product?
So my product is a clinical decision support tool for kidney care teams and nephrology teams. And my product market fit is going to be with the value-based care providers in the nephrology space, integrated delivery networks, who have a lot of kidney patients under their belt. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kaushik. And so, this is just like such an exciting event. Like you could be waking up like to a regular day, drop your kid off at school. Actually, I did orthodontist first and then the school, and then went about my day. And then I come here, I'm like, how am I going to calm myself down after seeing all these exciting ideas? And I know many of you feel that way. Okay, now we're ready to move on to the final stage, to the Great Lakes Giants. And with that, I would like to invite Duza Baba, Head of Community Engagement at HealthcareMN. Should I time Duza just because he was being very mean?
Ooh. Wow. What a day. So yeah, speaking of dropping kids off, I was in New York for bat mitzvah and left my kids in New York with my wife. They're coming today. They're flying in later today. But it's good to be back here. That was an important event, but so is this as well. And I'm glad I was able to enjoy it. And I'm glad to be part of the event here today. All right, so we're moving on to the Great Lakes Giants. They used to be called professionals, but in the spirit of WalleyeTank, we thought it would make sense to, tie it in to the fish theme, right? So the Great Lake Giants. So far, what a fantastic group of companies. Let's have another round of applause for all the presenters. And of course, thank you to our wonderful judges as well. So the Great Lakes Giants are startups that are a little more advanced in their journey, have MVP, revenue, and they're looking to grow. And WalleyeTank, we did it's a hard job to thread the needle. We want to give as many startups and founders exposure. The early stage who just have an idea. We saw in the junior round, some have moved on a little beyond an idea. Mid-level reelers who you've seen, some that have traction, have a product, and are refining it around the edges, and are starting to think about growth, distribution. We got a few of those questions. And then our Great Lakes Giants who all have some revenue coming in and are looking to just grow at this stage. And in threading that needle, we had, again, a lot, 39, we had 39 applicants. And we moved from 10, we thought we'd maybe show you 10, but we decided to expand it so you could see all the great work that's happening. So we had 18. In the Great Lakes Giants, 3 unfortunately cannot make it. They actually are from out of town. One had to cancel their flight. 2 reached out before the final day to say they were not able to make it. Again, by expanding to the Midwest, we wanted to bring innovation that's happening, not just in Minnesota, but also in the Midwest. So that also led to some of the logistics as well. But We're here to celebrate the great work of those that are here. We have three giants, and the audience, you are going to be the one to determine who's going to take home that People's Choice Award. So keep in mind, imagine that you're an angel investor with $50,000 to invest. Who would you put that money in? So keep that in mind when we get to their presentations. Before we get to the Great Lake Giants, we are gonna do a spotlight of, again, some of our wonderful partners. I would like to invite Neela Malagard up, who's the Executive Director at the Office of Small Businesses and Innovation at MN.
Good evening, everyone. This is so exciting to be the 10th Walleye Tank. I think I've been to the majority of them, and each one is as inspiring as the last. As it says, I'm Neela Mulgard with DEED. Minnesota has been a place where good ideas has always taken root, and today really reflects that collaborative energy driving health innovation. This event is a sample of our vibrant innovation ecosystem. We have universities, we have investors, we have corporate strategics, we have government. There's other government members up there too. And all trying to help entrepreneurs from that idea to the impact stage. At DEED, we focus on 3 essentials for every founder and what they need: capital, connectivity, and capacity building. From capital, we have grants to loans to direct investments with our state-sponsored entity, U of M, with those direct investments. Raise your hand if you've been part of some of the DEED funding in the past, the Launch Minnesota Innovation Grantees. I know we've had Anders and Pinar, yes, so many of them, Momies, and so many. Love to see that ROI on those programs, and there's some great programs right now too. For connectivity, we try to help entrepreneurs navigate the ecosystem, trying to find those right resources at the right time. And for capacity building, just one example is we just launched the Minnesota Small Business Support Network. These are members, partners like MinCup and University of Minnesota and other accelerator programs here in the audience that are in every region of the state to try to help entrepreneurs navigate, get the technical assistance, the consulting, the education that they need to be successful. Entrepreneurs, you are at the center of all of this work. You bring your grit, your tenacity, your creativity, and you're solving Minnesota's biggest challenges. You power our innovation economy. And so thank you to all the innovators here, and please know that you are supported by a community that believes in your success. Together, let's keep Minnesota the best place to start and scale new ventures. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Neela. And now I want to introduce Paul Carson, principal at CLA, for our next ecosystem spotlight. He's also a board member of HealthcareMN.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here for what is truly an inspiring afternoon with these ecosystem partners, with the judges, with the amazing companies, and all of the hard work that goes into building and growing these companies that are truly changing the world of healthcare. As I mentioned, my name is Paul Carlson. I'm a principal with CLA. And for those of you that are familiar with CLA or maybe are not, we're a professional services firm consisting of CPAs, wealth advisors, consultants. And our approach is taking a industry-focused view on how we deliver our services. So aligning a team that knows your industry, that knows the world of healthcare, that knows the world of research and development, the ever-changing needs of a company, and the founders that build their businesses. It's a pleasure to be here representing CLA, not only as a sponsor, but also as a board member here. We look forward to the afternoon. We look forward to the reception after. I look forward to answering any questions, helping to provide some dialogue and insight into how we can be a advocate and help support your organization. So look forward to the remainder of the afternoon and hope to see and discuss with you all later. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. So like I mentioned again, our Great Lakes Giants, they will pitch for 3 minutes. So we're giving them 1 more minute. And it's going to be a People's Choice Award. So make sure you scan, right? Just kidding. All right. I want to invite Gretchen over from. Oh, yes. From OutSnap. Oh, that's interesting. Good point. I do not see it. All right.
I was told my cute.
Yes, I know exactly. And I made so. So Gretchen, I think we'll just yes. Meet up with Gretchen after to give her feedback. I'm sorry about that. It's gonna take a while. All right, ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
Duza's the man. Everybody give it up for Duza. Yes. All right, in the next 3 minutes, I'm going to show you how we are changing a broken piece of healthcare. And for the first time, after telling this story hundreds of times across the country, the person this story is about is in this room. So there were 2 sisters who had the same cancer gene. One of them is alive, and one of them has passed away. The sister who passed away is Kathy, and this is all because of a denied preventative screen. Kathy is sitting next to our front-end developer, Max, who's sitting in the audience. Max, today's pitch is for you. Every day, these doctors make decisions that are the correct decision for the patient, but they don't fit neatly inside of insurance claim forms. This results in 15% of all claims getting denied, and healthcare is demanding a solution. For a typical hospital, this equals $10.5 million of lost revenue. And across the US, that's $262 billion. Now, the problem is most of these systems don't have the time or capacity to fight these claims. And that's because it takes clinical expertise, it takes time, and it takes nurses like me who know how to write these appeal letters. But at OffSnap, we've solved the most time-consuming part of the process, and that's writing the appeal letter. We've reduced it by 95% in time that it takes, from hours down to minutes. And we've improved the denial overturn rate by using technology. And we're not ChatGPT, okay? The proof is in our performance. We have been validated by the very care system that we were built to serve. And that's because our team is led by clinicians who understand this industry. And we are backed by advisors all the way up to people who advise the White House on their AI initiatives. We are growing fast, and it is exciting. You can see all of the people that we've started to work with and the systems that are helping us to continue to grow. We closed a $775K pre-seed round recently, and we're now gearing up for conversations with investors around our next priced round. So if you think healthcare is broken in this factor and you want to continue this conversation, I invite you to come find us, but do it quickly because I have to catch a flight at 8 p.m. Thank you. It's okay, we can just take a raised hand. It's all good.
Yes.
Does it work?
Yes, this is OffSnap. So, all right. Sorry, good job. So, no questions again for the Great Lakes Giants. Meet them after to have a conversation. All right. I'd like to invite Serhii from Oval. And while he's coming,
Yes, hello everybody, hi. My name is Sergey, I'm a CEO and co-founder of OVO. It's not very typical when man is talking about women's health. But in many cases, we can have mothers, daughters, or wife, as happened in my family. When we were trying for this cute little guy on the photo, appeared that there is so much related to hormone levels, especially in women's health. Like when you're trying for a baby, or when you're living in your 40s or 50s, in perimenopause or dealing with skincare problems, but there is no simple, efficient way to track your hormones at home. Just imagine, I was running best ever company in diagnostics, Siemens Healthineers, building the huge factories of top-notch diagnostic solutions. And at home, my wife was giving me a cup of urine like this, and I was putting inside the sticks to check with my eye what's going on. And I say, like, why? Like, there have to be a better way. So this is when I invented Ovo. Now you open the device, you put saliva inside, and it tracks are you ovulating or how your perimenopause is ongoing. Very simple to use device, totally reusable, no refills, everything goes to the app, and we also tell you what to do next. This simplicity allows us to do like more than 20,000 tests right now, to grow purely organic sales, launch Amazon and many, many more. Because the thing is that the tech itself has been known for centuries. Whenever saliva dries, and if they form very specific patterns, we can track estrogen levels. So what we did with Ovo, we just digitalized that solution. We took away like a person on the microscope, and we use AI to recognize those images. That allowed us to move on, not only for fertility diagnostics, but for broader hormone platform, for especially helping women in perimenopause in disease detection like endometriosis or PCOS. And with very simple business model, we sell the device and subscription. And right now you have a great opportunity to come to my booth and we can figure out something on this as well. We were able to win a lot of startup competitions, including TechCrunch and Startup Grind. We are the semi-finalists of Minnesota Cup last year. But the main thing that we achieved is like 8 babies was born with Ovo. And this is still counting, maybe even now, which is huge for us. We are not raising today, we will be raising in the next quarter, basically to boost our sales in B2B. We have finally found out how can we support the Creighton fertility and Neo fertility. So this tech is already on market for 100 years, and we are now improving it and scaling. So join us. We truly believe that each and every woman deserves to live her best life, and we are here to build those tools to help them. Thanks so much. Thank you.
Wow, yeah. Ovo, mommies. I remember meeting Ashley. I said, if you need a chief marketer, I will market your breast pump because I know how my wife suffered. So, you know, we work together, right? We can't leave half of the human race. So I'm glad to have these companies that focus on women's health. All right. Now Sean from Atrility, and let me get the code. Yes, you're the last one. So this is the last one. Again, 3 minutes, but you know. All right.
Okay, the last one. Hello, my name is Sean McCormick. I'm a physician. I worked at Epic for years, and now I'm CEO of Atrility based in Madison, Wisconsin. Arrhythmias affect over 400 million people worldwide, are increasing in prevalence, and impact almost half of hospitalizations. All of that is driving an up to $50 billion market by 2033. But we've been measuring arrhythmias in the same way for literally hundreds of years by putting leads on the skin's surface, measuring the electrical signal from the heart deep in the chest. That distance and other interference leads to misdiagnosis up to 33% for arrhythmias. False alarms from the current bedside monitor systems, and arrhythmias are important. They increase length of stay, cost, as well as lead to provider burnout because of all those alarms. Several years ago, our founder, who's a pediatric electrophysiologist from University of Madison, Wisconsin, said, well, you know, there's got to be a better way. What if we get the signals not from the skin, but directly from the surface of the heart? And that's what we do at Atrility, through our device that I'll talk about, as well as through software and machine learning. First, our device. It's called the HRAMP. It's patented, FDA cleared, reimbursed. It connects to wires that are routinely placed on the surface of the heart during open heart surgery and left out through the chest for about a week in order to pace the heart. Our device connects to those wires and then displays the signal you see down below on the lower tracing on the bedside monitor. You can see the rich detail that's coming from our signal versus what's on the bed from the standard surface leads up above. We're projecting $1 million of sales of the AtriAmp device this year and have a great group of hospitals that are already using this device, primarily pediatric today, but launching into the adult space now as well. And with all of those sites comes a lot of data. Over 300,000 hours of data have passed through our device over the past several years. We're now collecting that data to build software and machine learning devices, this crystal clear ECG data directly from the surface of the heart. First version of our software will be released this summer at University of Wisconsin-Madison. It is something that our customers have asked for, saying, hey, that waveform is great to be able to see, but it'd be helpful if your software would interpret the arrhythmia for us. This version of software that will be released will be the first software on the market, the first algorithm on the market that will automatically diagnose junctional ectopic tachycardia, the most common pediatric arrhythmia after heart surgery, affecting up to 40% of patients. We're very excited about this launch. But beyond that, there's a lot of exciting stuff to come as well. So we're using our incredibly clear waveform, as you can see in the schematic down below, comparing it to what's in the standard surface leads, and training a machine learning model to better identify the subtleties of those surface leads so that the model will be able to improve arrhythmia diagnosis even without our device. Throughout the hospital, and then potentially even the expanding home diagnostic arrhythmia space. We have a great opportunity with our device, an even better opportunity on the right, as you can see, with the software at the various levels. An excellent team to bring this home, including investors such as the University of Wisconsin Medical Center. We'll be raising a $5 to $10 million round in early 2027. Thank you very much.
Yeah, another round of applause for Sean. So, investors, take note. Yeah. All right. So, actually, before we vote, let's let's wrap this up a bit. This has been amazing. We have had, I've enjoyed seeing these presentations, some of which, thanks to some of the mentors, people already changed their products before they came on stage because some of our mentors engaged and gave them direction. And that's the power of community, Here's the mic. Oh, thank you. Yes, thank you. And that's the power of community. We actually, we are better when we can engage. HealthcareMN's goal is to bring people together. You don't know if it's going to be your co-founder, a mentor, advisor, investor. We bring people together to make those connections so that great things can happen. There's a lot of appetite for this kind of programming, I've been told, but the resources are not there. So we're going to make a call out to partners, to sponsors, to investors, support HealthcareMN, support WalleyeTank. It used to be twice a year, and Rashmi said we only do it once. It's hard to put it on, and it's really led by volunteers, all volunteer-led. So again, thank you to anyone and everyone who volunteered to make this happen. And of course, thank you to our founders who applied and were patient with us. But we will continue the journey and support you throughout the year. It's not just a pitch and then bye-bye. Our goal is to continue to support you, like we mentioned, connect you with mentors, get you investor ready. We have a lot of folks, mentors from Millie and others who have indicated interest in supporting, getting founders and startups investor ready. So we will package a lot of this post-event and work with you throughout the rest of the year. But again, this has been great to see all the work that's happening, not just in Minnesota, in the Midwest, and we will do better. We want your feedback. There will also be a QR code for that. We'll do better. We will build around all the great work that's happening here in Minnesota. I know there's another medical event today at McNamara. So we will do better, and organize and do better, so that we can all be able to attend these great events. So that said, so for the People's Choice voting, you get to pick your favorite. Imagine you're an angel investor with $50,000. Who would you put it in? That's what, that's the ask. And while you're voting, again, I already made this comment previously, but really, we rely on the support from the community to support our founders. So reach out to us at HealthcareMN. There will be opportunities. Come talk to Rashmi, talk to me, talk to Kirik, talk to Anshul, talk to Sonia, talk to any of our board members, to find out ways that we can continue to support our wonderful community. So I'll give you a little time to think. And, you can scan it. If you don't want to vote now, we'll leave it open for a few minutes, so you can you can ruminate on what you've seen and what you've heard. So next up, and before we head out, there will also be a few QR codes that we want you to provide feedback on. So then we'll let the judges go deliberate. You'll continue to do networking, and then we'll have the awards ceremony and more networking. But before that, please give us some event feedback. Yes, capture it now, because once you leave here, those emails, maybe the last event we had maybe 15%, which is good. People actually filled out the feedback form, but it's hard when you're not there. And is this running? Just making sure that it's, yes? Okay, good. All right. And finally, yeah, you guys, you're going to be tired of these QR codes. HealthcareMN, like I said, is all volunteer-run, nonprofit. Anything you can donate will help us, keep the lights on and be able to plan and engage with other partners. Again, we want to thank all the partners that have supported us on this journey, and especially the Walker Center. So Walker Center, we really appreciate you for giving us this space to host WalleyeTank Spring 2026. So any support you can give, we would appreciate it. All right, and that's it, folks. So there will be, reception outside, drinks, cash bar. Our funds did not reach to where we could, pay for the bar, but there's a cash bar available for your enjoyment. The award ceremony will be at 6:30. We're going to give the judges time to deliberate, and then we'll collate those results, and then we'll have the award ceremony. at 6:30. Thank you.